One of the most common questions I get asked from people who are getting started with their email marketing is, should I use plain text emails or should I use HTML-based emails or more design-based emails? And the answer you get will usually depend on who you're asking. So if you're asking a copywriter, especially a direct response copywriter, a lot of times they're going to lean towards saying text only is the only way to go every time. And if you're talking to a graphic designer or anyone whose profession or skill set leans toward design, of course they're going to tell you that it's an absolute waste of resources to even bother sending text-based emails, and they're ugly and they don't work and no one wants that anymore. And the truth is actually somewhere in between. So having done email marketing for almost 10 years now and I've worked with all different types of businesses, from product-based businesses, service-based, working with influencers, SaaS businesses, local businesses, everything you can imagine. I can tell you that there's actually a time for both, and it's going to depend on your type of business, your brand, and some other factors. So I want to go through and just list out some of those factors and help you decide which one is right for you, because there are pros and cons to both approach. So the first thing, just to get out of the way, is that when it comes to the message and the design, without a doubt, the message is mandatory. You have to have a good, the message has to be effective. You have to have a good messaging strategy if you really want to see success with email marketing. Now, anyone can just send out random emails to their list, and a lot of times you can just, get traction, generate some sales, or convert on whatever the thing is you're offering, just by sending out an email, assuming that there's already some level of interest and some level of trust between the people receiving your emails and your business. But the difference between, a very low conversion and actually getting great results and actually being able to grow this sales channel and have it be an extremely high ROI sales channel for you is going to be the message. So with that, whichever approach you take, you have to have good messaging, which means you need to have good copy in the email. So if it's going to be a text only email, of course it's the only thing there. So of course you have to have great copy, but even emails with great design, you need to have great copy, and the copy comes first. Really, it's the message that comes first. And when you design the emails, you should be designing to enhance the message, because that is what's influencing people. That's what's persuading them to make the purchase or to convert on whatever it is you're trying to get them to do. So now that we've got that out of the way, first I want to talk about when to use text-only emails or text-based emails. So if you are a B2B type of business, if you're a business selling to other businesses, that's one case where not only can you get away with text-based emails, but a lot of times those markets actually prefer text-only emails. And the reason why is because those buyers tend to be a little more savvy. They tend to have their guard up a little bit more against marketing, and they're usually not as impressed by the design. They really want to care about, they really care about the details of your offer and just getting their questions answered. And if you can address their sales objections and just making sure that it's the right fit for their business and it's going to be a good investment for their business. So they really care about the information they're receiving more than the presentation. Although the presentation can take it up a notch and can be the icing on the cake, it's definitely not the most important piece at all. So if you are B2B, then and you are already thinking, you're already leaning towards going text only, then go for it. And especially if design is the thing that's holding you back, just don't even bother with it right now. You can add that in later. But really, for most B2B, I would honestly say just stick with text only anyways. So another type of business would be SaaS businesses, whether they're business facing or consumer facing. SaaS businesses, again, more direct response style copywriting is going to go a long ways with those markets. And yeah, you really don't need to take it much further than having just great copy. And if you're looking at your budget and you have to, and let's just say it came down to you were going to have, kind of like good but not great copy and good but not great design, you would be better off and get much better results if you shifted your budget towards having great copy and not even worrying about the design. Now, and then another type of business does great with text only are influencers. So as an influencer, you already have this relationship with your customers and with with the people who sign up to your list who maybe even haven't purchased yet, you already have a much higher level of trust between you and the people on your list because they've been consuming your content online. They already know, like, and trust you. So you don't have to rely on the design to try to accomplish some of those things. It's really all about the message. And the thing is, what's great about a text-only email is it looks and feels like a real email that we would send each other in real life. So getting a text-only email from an influencer you like looks and feels more like they just sat down to email you, even though we know that they didn't. It looks and feels that way more. And that's part of the experience, and that's part of something that people actually like, where they feel like they have a relationship with that influencer, and they don't really need all the fluff. Honestly, they like having a direct line of communication with this person that they already know, like, and trust. So not only do you not need to design your emails, a lot of times you're actually going to resonate more with them by not taking that approach, and by having it look just more like a genuine email that you just sat down. It looks like that you actually wrote the copy yourself, whether you did or didn't. And then finally, another example of the type of business I would say to lean towards text-only emails would be businesses that have limited resources. So again, what I mentioned before, if you're looking at your budget, on average, the design usually tends to be the more expensive piece of your email marketing. The thing is, there's a lot of graphic designers out there that can produce mediocre email designs, I should say. There's not very many that can make great designs. And because of that, they're able to charge a lot more. So, and it's just not even close. So, for my business, doing email marketing for my clients, the biggest challenge I have is finding great graphic designers that charge a rate where I can still make our service cost effective for our clients and still be profitable for us. That is for any business like mine, that is one of the ongoing challenges. And that is one of the biggest challenges in the market, just because, again, the gap between the mediocre graphic designers and the great graphic designers is so large, and the price that they're able to demand and what businesses out there will pay for great design, it just has an influence on the whole market to where it's it's almost impossible to get great designs at a low cost unless you're doing it yourself, or unless you just happen, there's always going to be those cases where someone has a relative or knows someone on the team who's just really great at it, but it's hard to reliably go out there in the market and find people like that who are really great graphic designers, who are really actually keeping up with the cutting edge of what's working right now in email marketing, and also being affordable. So if you have limited resources, go all in on the copy. Great copy is going to go way further than great design, and great design is more of a nice to have. Okay, so now when to use design. So now I'm going to contradict what I just said. So if you're an e-commerce business, you're a product-based business, you can get away with text only, but HTML-based emails with a great design are going to take you much further. And the reason why is because consumers want and expect that. So product-based businesses, especially businesses that are really focused on their brand, they are more visual. So a lot of what we like about the brands that we like is the visual nature. You kind of have to have both, honestly. If you think about the great consumer brands, they have great messaging and great design. You don't ever see one and not the other. That's what the standard is. The standard is higher. When in the e-commerce space, the standard for how you present your brand is higher. The expectations that consumers have from you are higher. And unfortunately, what that means for you is it's just going to be, there's a little bit more pressure to have your emails look great. And that means great copy and great design. So like when I said before, how, a lot of times design is more of a nice to have. When it comes to e-commerce, I'm not going to say it's absolutely mandatory, because great copy is the only thing that's mandatory, but you're just, in most cases, not going to go as far. You're going to have a little bit, there's just going to be a lot of people in the market who, because of their own biases, just don't think your brand is as trustworthy or as legit if you only send text only emails, because again, that's how the market's been trained and that's what the expectation is. And I'm just giving it to you straight. That's just how it is. So another type of business where it's harder to get away with text only emails is any kind of business that is design based in nature. So if you're selling graphic design services, any print design services, or any kind of design products, if you're selling interior design services, if you're selling anything based around interior design like furniture, so again, that's getting back to product, but anything that's remotely related to design, people expect you to have the best designed everything, because if you truly are great at design and they are going to trust you with their money to get to deliver some kind of great designed thing for them, they expect that you have already put in at least as much, if not more, effort into your own designs that you would for them. So that is your business card. They are going to be judging you heavily on that. So I mean, again, it's not that you can't get if you have great messaging and it's from the founder and it feels like a really personal email, I mean, that's the approach to take if you're not going to use design. But again, just know if you're competing against other businesses and they have amazing designs and they also have that really great messaging, and people feel a connection to the brand, and again, you're design based, people are judging that. They are going to judge the book based on its cover, and the level of expectation is higher for you, and that's just the way it is. So then another example would be, it doesn't necessarily have to be design based, but a lot of brands they're not design companies in any way, but their brand is very visual, and maybe they have a really nice website, their social media, everything is just very visually pleasing. You have set a standard for your brand as for what people should expect, and there is going to be some disconnect if the design of your emails doesn't fit that same standard. So for a lot of businesses where they've put a lot of emphasis on the visual side of their business, they have kind of put themselves into a corner where they've at least set the expectation for people that they should have a great design, and it just looks off. So there's just sometimes whenever their social media is so visually pleasing and just has this consistent aesthetic between their website and their content and everything, and you get their emails and they aren't designed, it just kind of stands out. But the worst thing, what's even worse than having no design, is having bad design. And so that's really the last thing I want to mention here about that, is that you only want to use design, it's going to be good, because bad email design will kill the email. It will kill the message. It's just a distraction. It honestly just cheapens the brand. It makes you look unprofessional, and it makes you look kind of spammy. And again, people's standards of what they expect from businesses are a little higher. So if you're going to have bad to mediocre design, you're really better off just having amazing messaging and just having amazing copy and really understanding your ideal customers and speaking to them through the messaging of your emails, and not having any design at all, because at least it looks like you did that intentionally. Whereas having bad design looks like, how could they possibly let this fly? Like, who approved this? A lot of times people are going to be thinking that. So bad design is a distraction. Good design enhances the message. So again, just to summarize things, the message is mandatory, and good design enhances that message. Bad design is a distraction, and it can keep people from even consuming the message because they're just so turned off and distracted, and they have all these questions in their mind, and there's this disconnect between the brand and what they're seeing, and it just causes more problems. So again, if you're on the fence about this, hopefully your business kind of loosely falls into one of these categories I've talked about, so you at least know which direction to go, and that can help you figure out where to put your resources when it comes to email marketing. And last thing here, just to be a little self-promotional, I will say that one area where we shine is that we have great content, and that's something that we really specialize with our emails. If you've seen my videos, you kind of have an idea of the strategies that we use as far as automation, as far as how we plan campaigns and everything. One thing I don't really talk about very much is that we are very, very big on the overall aesthetic of our emails. So some of our clients, we are doing only text-only emails. These would be like B2B and SaaS businesses, but most of our clients are e-commerce businesses, and we put a lot of emphasis on having the message and design not only align with their brand, but we have a clear strategy in place for your messaging and for your design. So if you don't have those things, we can help you come up with those. We can help you formulate your messaging strategy, and then we design around that. So the good design enhances the message. It doesn't replace the message. It always enhances the message, and that's our approach. So if you're looking for a team to manage your email marketing, go to elevateandscale.com and you can schedule a call with me. Otherwise, if you're looking to, if you're just in a position where you need or you want to do this yourself, then I recommend subscribing to the channel, follow along. Most of my videos are going to be more about the strategy, and really more focusing on the messaging side side of email marketing, because again, that's where you're going to get the most ROI. But I wanted to do this and answer this because it's a very common question, and a lot of times people, if they just don't know how, or they don't have the budget or whatever to have great design for their emails, it's kind of holding them back. And I would say don't let it hold you back. A great text only email is better than no email, and a poorly designed email is worse than a great message text only email. So that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next video.